Hey there, my little darklings. It's Skitty, your patron saint of uneasy silences and that creeping feeling you forgot something important. Tonight's story, let's just say it starts small and ends somewhere you won't see coming. So settle on in and snuggle up nice and tight. This is There and Gone, written by Matt Looney. There and Gone. The ice pack crinkled against her forehead as she sank deeper into the couch cushions. Her head throbbed, not the sharp, pounding kind, but the dull, echoey ache that seemed to hum behind her eyes. "I told you not to do shots," Sarah said, her voice crackling through the phone speaker. I didn't do shots, Sarah," Terry groaned. "I did a shot, singular, one." "And then you immediately tried to dance in socks, on tile, like a drunk baby deer," Sarah added. "And then you tried to dance in socks like a drunk baby deer," Terry said in a mocking, drunken voice. "How many drinks did you have at your party, though?" Sarah asked, laughing. "It was my birthday party. Drinks don't count on your birthday," Terry assured her. "Could have cracked your skull. Are you sure you're okay?" "I can feel you shaking your head in disapproval from the other side of the phone. I'm fine, I swear. Just bruised my pride." She adjusted the ice pack and winced. Her hair was still damp from the shower she'd taken to wash off the wine she'd somehow managed to spill down her own back. The place still smelled faintly of birthday cake, cheap Prosecco, and citronella from the candles they'd lit on the balcony. Sarah had left 20 minutes ago, promising to text once she got home. "I can come back," Sarah offered, voice softening. "Seriously, I'm still close." No, I'm good," she said, forcing a smile, even though Sarah couldn't see it. "Just going to curl up, finish this murder documentary, and try not to die from embarrassment." They wrapped up the call with the usual "you better text me's" and a string of heart emojis. She set the phone down on the arm of the couch and stood slowly, balancing the half-melted ice pack in one hand. As she passed the large living room window on her way to the kitchen, something caught her eye. A man was standing across the street on the sidewalk under a street lamp. She paused. He wasn't doing anything, just standing there. Not close enough to be alarming, but he was clearly looking up at her in her second-floor apartment. Mid-50s, maybe? Salt and pepper hair, clean-cut, black hoodie, blue jeans, hands in his pockets. She squinted. Had he been at the party? A neighbor? She watched for a few seconds, a feeling of uneasiness rising. It wasn't his appearance. He looked normal, friendly even. Still, something didn't sit right, like a song playing just a few beats off. He didn't move, he just watched. He pulled her cell phone from her pocket and dialed Sarah's number. Placing it to her ear, she looked back outside. The man was gone. Her hand dropped to her side, the phone still ringing. She blinked a few times like maybe she'd just missed him, but he was gone. In the space of 2 seconds, he had disappeared. She peered out the window, looking at every dark shadow and car or any other object he could be hiding behind. She saw no evidence of the stranger. Did she imagine him? Was he just gone? Did he just walk off? Or was he coming inside? She brushed that last one away since the building's main entry door had keycard access and no one, that she knew at least, was buzzing people up at this time of night. After a few seconds more of searching the street below her window, she could hear Sarah on the phone at her side. "Hello? Hello? Terry?" "Oh gosh, sorry about that," she said, putting the phone to her ear. "Are you okay?" Sarah asked. "Do you need me to come back?" Still scanning the street, Terry answered slowly. Um, no, 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 I'm fine. There was just... It was weird. Huh? What was weird? Terry finally laughed. Nothing, Sarah. I'm drunk, and I have a head injury. Don't worry about it. I'm going to bed now. My first night as a 37-year-old is off to a bang-up start. Terry stirred beneath the covers, the weak morning light leaking in through the blinds. Her head felt thick, like her thoughts had to wade through oatmeal to form. She blinked a few times, trying to orient herself. No pounding hangover, no real pain, just fuzzy. The apartment was quiet, but she lived alone, so that wasn't unusual. Still, something about the silence made her pause. It was like there was some background noise that she couldn't quite place, like music or a voice speaking from 2 apartments away. She sat up slowly, half expecting a wave of nausea or a twinge in her skull. Nothing. The melted ice pack from the night before sat on the end table beside her bed, dripping into a paper towel she'd stuffed underneath it. She touched the spot on her head where she'd fallen. No bump, no bruise. She padded barefoot into the kitchen, where the wine-streaked towel still laid on the floor next to the counter. She nudged it with her toe, trying to reconstruct how exactly she'd slipped. The memory was hazy, just a quick snap of motion. The feeling of her feet going out from under her, and then lying there with her cheek against the cold tile. She didn't remember hitting her head. She assumed she had, because of the headache, but now the microwave clock blinked at her. 9:42. Late, but not too late for a lazy Sunday. So she brewed coffee and scrolled her phone. A few birthday texts she'd missed the night before, an Instagram notification. Nothing from Sarah yet. Terry tapped her name and sent a quick message. Still alive, mildly ashamed, head feels weirdly fine. You around? She stepped out into the small balcony with her coffee, the morning air already warming up, and she sat in her eyesore of a folding chair. Her second floor view gave her a good look at the street below. People walking dogs, a guy jogging, a kid in a Spider-Man hoodie riding a scooter. And there he was, the same man from the night before, the same black hoodie, the same jeans, same hands in pocket stance, watching her, this time in broad daylight. The weirdness hit harder, like a scene repeating itself, like deja vu, but with purpose. She stared, and he didn't move, didn't look away. She could see his face more clearly in the daylight. He was just a normal middle-aged guy. He wasn't even glaring or looking at her menacingly. His expression was, wonder, maybe? Her phone buzzed in her hand. A text from Sarah. You okay? I just tried calling you, but it went straight to voicemail. Terry looked down at the screen, then back to the corner. He was gone. Again. What? She stood and surveyed the street, up and down. There were fewer cars than last night, so less places to hide. Wait, was that him ducking in the doorway of Fresh and Frozen down the street a block? She continued searching for several moments, but the only visible human being now was a 30-something woman wearing juicy leggings and a sports bra walking her golden doodle. She slumped back to her seat, baffled. What is going on? Her eyes flashed back and forth as if scanning for the answer somehow. After a few moments, they settled back on her phone. She texted Sarah, Hey, you want to meet at Sal's for some coffee? Sal's smelled like cinnamon and burnt espresso, same as it always did. The ancient ceiling fans turned slowly overhead, and the windows fogged slightly from the contrast between the chilly spring morning and the warmth inside. Terry spotted Sarah near the back, already nursing a cappuccino and absently scrolling her phone. "Hey," Terry said, slipping into the seat across from her. Sarah looked up, her expression easing when she saw her. "Well, you're upright. That's good." "I know. Miracle, right?" Terry dropped her keys on the table and shrugged off her coat. "Apparently, I bounce now." "You're lucky," Sarah said, taking a sip. "If I'd wiped out the way you described, I'd still be horizontal." Their usual server, Tim, came to the table, dropping off a water. "Here you go, He glanced at Terry, then quickly at the table, clearly searching for a name. Before she could say anything, he mumbled, "Enjoy," and walked off. Terry blinked. "Okay, that was weird." Sarah raised an eyebrow. "What was?" "Tim was," she said, gesturing to the waiter who was disappearing into the kitchen. "We come here at least twice a week. He looked at me like he didn't know my name, or like I smelled or something." She shook her head. "Forget it. I'm probably still hungover." Sarah tilted her head. "You okay?" Terry hesitated, then leaned in slightly. "Okay, so this is going to sound a little crazy." "Oh, okay, thank God," Sarah said. "I thought we were going to talk about work or taxes or something." Terry smiled, but it faded quickly. "There's this guy." "Define guy." "I saw him last night outside my apartment, just standing there, staring up at my window, and then again this morning, across the street. Same hoodie, same jeans, just there." Sarah's amusement faded. "Wait, are you being serious?" "Dead serious. And here's the thing, he doesn't look threatening. He's just this normal-looking guy, like someone's uncle or a cool high school science teacher or something. But the way he's looking at me..." Terry trailed off, remembering that expression again. Not malice or anything that felt like ill intent, something closer to awe. "He looked at me like, I don't know, like I was glowing, or I had 3 boobs or something." Sarah set her cup down. "Okay, slow down. Do you remember seeing him before the party?" "I don't think so. At least, I think last night was the first time, and now it's been twice in 2 days." "You need to call the cops," Sarah said flatly. "Even if it's nothing, you need to make a record of it." Terry nodded but didn't say anything. A distant hum had started in her ears, low and persistent, like feedback from an old speaker. She winced a little at the sound. "What's wrong?" Sarah asked. "I don't know. I'm just off for some reason. And now I might be getting tinnitus." She smiled half-heartedly. She glanced toward the mirror on the wall behind Sarah. She could see the line of people ending at the register waiting to order. She had to do a double take. There he was, third in line. He was facing away from them, but she knew that hoodie and the blue jeans, that salt and pepper hair. "Oh God, that's him," she said, shrinking in her chair. "What? Where?" Sarah asked, looking around the restaurant. "Third from the register," she said, her head low. "All right, enough of this crap," Sarah said, standing up. "I'm going to go see what this guy's deal is." "Wait, Sarah." Terry reached for her, but Sarah was quick and already making her way through the crowded dining room. Terry watched as Sarah made her way over to the line. Sarah looked back at her, and they locked eyes for a moment. "I've got this," Sarah mouthed, then turned back to the line of people. As she reached the third person in line, she realized this was a 50-something woman with bright red hair. She looked forward in the line toward the register. No one in a hoodie. She looked back in the line. Again, he wasn't there. "Was there a guy in a hoodie in front of you?" she asked the red-haired lady. "I don't think so," she replied, "but I was looking at my phone for a bit, so I might have missed him." Sarah nodded a thanks, but slowly headed to the table. Scanning the room the whole way back, no sign of hoodie man. Reaching the table, she asked, "Did you see him leave?" "He left?" Terry turned around in her chair, searching the room. It was weird, Sarah said. I turned back to look at you and he just vanished. That's what he does to me, Terry exclaimed. You saw him though, right? I'm not losing it? I saw him, Sarah replied, eyes still searching for some sign of the man in the hoodie. They both scanned the dining room of Sal's for the next few minutes, not saying a word. Sarah finally broke the nervous silence between them. Yeah, definitely call the cops. In the days that followed, Terry didn't see the stranger again. The absence should have been a relief, but it wasn't. It felt like waiting for a punch that never came, like the space around her was just waiting to cave in on her. She went back to work, ate lunch with Sarah, slept mostly. Life settled into a rhythm that almost felt normal for a week. She got off the bus a little later than usual, dusk already creeping across the sky. As she approached her apartment building, she froze. There he was, standing right at the main entrance. Not across the street, not distant or shadowed, right there, waiting. Terry stopped mid-step, heart thudding, eyes locked on him. He didn't move, just watched. No doubt he saw her. She didn't even hesitate. She turned the corner, circled the building, and entered through the back. The seconds scrambling for her keycard seemed like an eternity. She cast a quick glance behind her, but no stalker. Finally, the door was open, and she practically ran up the stairs. Swiping the card again as fast as she could, she closed the door behind her and bolted it, chest heaving. She let out a long breath, turned around, and leaned her head back against the door. He was sitting on her couch. Hi, Terry. His voice was velvety and kind. Terry froze, mouth open, a scream crawling up her throat. He held up one hand, palm out, calm, and she couldn't scream. She couldn't speak at all. Please, he said gently, patting the cushion beside him. Come, sit. She turned back toward the door, groping blindly for the bolt, but before her fingers even touched it, he snapped his fingers. And she was sitting right beside him. The room swam, not from fear, but from something else, something deeper. It took her a moment to realize what had just happened. I know this is hard to understand, he said. I gave you space. I gave you time. More than I should have. More than I ever have, actually. His voice came out like molasses, sweet and slow and ethereal. She stared at him, unable to form the question she'd so needed to ask. This is going to be difficult to hear, Terry, but you died, he said softly, over a week ago, on your birthday. It was quick, an aneurysm, but you were gone before you even hit the floor. She didn't react, not outwardly, but something deep in her, a thread inside her chest, snapped loose. You simply didn't notice, he continued, and that's not normal. Believe me. Her voice returned in a whisper. That's not true. He smiled. It is. I didn't take you then because I was curious. You are the first soul I've seen who kept her spirit intact for this long. Somehow you kept going. Without a body, you kept walking talking, and holding on. That almost never happens, and never for this long. Your soul is strong enough to interact with the physical world. Many of the recently departed can do this for a moment, or even a series of moments. But what you've done, she shook her head. No, I'm here. I'm still here. Oh, you're still here, but just not the way you think, he assured her. I might have even let you go on longer, but there are rules, and now they're insisting. This can't, she started. He tilted his head, studying her. You want proof. Terry didn't answer. His gaze shifted toward the kitchen. You're in there, your body. I've been keeping the smell down, but the body, it does what it does eventually. Now that you know, you'll be able to see it. No, she said, recoiling from him. You don't have to look, he said calmly, putting a hand on her arm. Just know, it's time. But I haven't. It's all right, he said. You've told everyone that you love them. Let them know what they meant to you. Something that souls in your situation don't normally get to do. She sat looking at him for long moments. Then her gaze went to her apartment, then to the world outside the large living room window. It's not fair. It's not. It's just life. He stood and held out his hand to her. Are you ready? She nodded, her chin trembling. As she did, the air in the room began to change, not colder, but thinner, like the atmosphere was changing. She took his hand and stood beside him. What's your name? She asked. He turned to her in surprise. A smile grew across his face. No one's ever asked me that. You are just full of surprises, Terry Goodspeed. I don't have one, but you may call me whatever you like. His smile made her relax. A warm feeling began to radiate from within her. He reached out, and the wall in front of them peeled open. Not shattered, not exploded, tore, like paper ripping in slow motion. Through the tear was something beyond explanation. A sky without stars, a horizon without shape, memories drifting like dandelion seeds. The air hummed with silence so deep it felt like a song. She looked back at him, eyes wide with wonder. I think I'll call you Pete. He nodded. Pete it is then. A small pause. That's actually kind of nice. They both looked back at the tear in the world and walked through. The apartment wall closed up behind them like nothing had happened. The modest living room was quiet and still, interrupted only by the faint buzzing from Terry's phone. Sarah was calling. If this one left you feeling off balance, like the world just shifted a half a step sideways, good. That's what we do here. Like it, share it, and let us know what you saw in the quiet parts. And if you're new around here, hit that subscribe. We tell the kinds of stories that linger, even after you've turned out the lights. Sweet dreams if you can find them, and I'll see you here next time.